What's up, guys? Check it out. So Aggravated Assault finally moved under its own power. So I had this truck running a while ago, and just starting the engine and everything, which was cool, but to have this thing drive under its own power, that was a milestone. The reason I didn't get any video of it running was because, so I had to make up these hydraulic lines right here to go from the steering cylinders, and those go up the link bars, and they come around, they run up here to an orbital valve that's controlled by the steering wheel, and they come back down, run down the frame into a reservoir, and then into a hydraulic pump that's driven by the crankshaft, which is engine driven. So that's a lot of line, a lot of fittings. I also had to see what I needed, like 90-degree straight fittings, 45s. So luckily there's a store near me called the Parker Store, and what they do is they make these hydraulic lines and fittings. So I measured everything up. I thought they'd have them for like a few days. Those guys knocked these things out in like 10 minutes while I waited. So that was awesome. There was no way I was gonna not put these things in my truck that night. So I got the lines in, started it, ran it, moved it around the shop, but I didn't have my camera with me. I was here by myself, so no one could record it. But it moved under its own power. I still have to hook up the rear steer though. So I got the rear steer all wired up. That's the auto return. Goes down to the electric over hydraulic motor, which is right there, and it's switch operated. So that's all wired up. I tested that out, make sure that works. As far as the rear hydraulics go, I got the hoses down here made up. I'm just waiting on a part called the lock valve. And right here you can see the auto return. Right there, these proximity switches. And what that does is, when you turn the wheels either right or left, they trip that switch. And as long as you have the auto return armed, they go back to center on their own. So anyway, I just got to get that lock valve. I can hook up the hoses, and then this thing will drive perfectly, hopefully. So other than that, I'm waiting on the limit straps. What those do is they limit how far those shocks travel, so that way they can't extend and break, because you never want to fully extend a shock and damage it, because those things are expensive. I finally got the harness for the seat. I'll show you that real quick. Right there, hooker harness. They did the seatbelt harness. Runs dual ratchets, so there's a ratchet on each side of the seat that you tighten, and it tightens the belt. So that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, one of these ratchets was no good right out of the box. They're from Harbor Freight. So it was cool though, because every Friday Snap-on Tools comes by here, and he's a really cool guy, been dealing with him for years. So he donated a couple new 1/4-inch ratchets. Check this out. So he gave me these ratchets right here. And these things aren't cheap. Snap-on Tools are the best. So that was awesome. And he gave me 2 ratchets. He's pretty cool. He's like giving me like RC cars and stuff over the years. So I've been dealing with him for a while. But yeah, everything's all wired up. There's some rear steer wiring. I try to make all the wiring as neat as possible. I put everything in this wire sheathing called Raychem DR25. If you do any automotive wiring, this is stuff you want to use. It's kind of like a heat shrink, but it's very durable. It's flexible. Virtually unbreakable. It's important to protect your wires so they don't get corroded and stuff. And then for all like the wire connectors, I use these right here. These are GM Weather Pack connectors. They're waterproof. They keep dirt out. I definitely recommend those. It's a lot better than just using a regular like butt connector, like stuff like this. Sometimes you have to use these, like going on the starter solenoids or the steering solenoids, which I mounted over there. Made like a little bracket for them. So that's about it for now. Other than that, I still have to make the drive shaft safety loops right here, like the cages. I just honestly, I mounted the drive shafts in because I was way too impatient to not drive this truck around. And also, to make the cages properly measure up, I had to have the drive shafts in anyway. So popped them and everything's all filled up with fluid, ready to go. So that's about it. I still have to finish some Lexan panels in the front and in the back. A lot of people ask me about the Planetaries. Those are Rockwell PS250s. They're very strong. They got a huge spindle. The gears are monstrous. And then I had all aftermarket parts in there. Transmission is made by Hughes. It's a Power Glide. Well, it's Power Glide based. It just kind of looks like a Power Glide. Everything else is aftermarket, billet, everything. Large input shaft, output shaft. That thing's nice. It's rated for over 4,000 horsepower, and it's a trans brake. Hughes converter, CSR, billet aluminum flex plate. So this thing's all set up and ready to go. Just got to put the Lexan pieces on it. Right in the back area here. I already made the front right here. There and on the top. Still have to put these side panels on. That's about it for now though. Check it out, some bonus content. Take a look at this car right here. It's a 1966 Chevelle Malibu convertible. It's a customer car. Here, because it had a little exhaust leak, turned out it had cracked manifolds. So I put some headers on it. Hooker competition ceramic coated. It's just a stock 327, 275 horse, but pretty snappy little motors. But this car is clean. This is a Southern car. Never had any rust. I'm not big on convertibles. I always like the hard tops. They look racier, but it's a beautiful car. Check out the interior. Main interior, it's a 4-speed car. Aero straight, never had any rust on this thing. Look at down the side of it. All the lines line up beautiful. This car is cream puff. Think it's probably sat in someone's garage. Look at that, it's a nice car. Let's check it out. Here's the wheels and tires right here. These are BKT Gen 2s. They're in nice condition. I bought these used. A friend of mine had the wheels built brand new by Racehorse. If you look, they got the stiffening rings right here to add some extra strength. Offset the right amount. You don't really want these all the way out here because that adds a lot of leverage to break the spindles and knuckles. But you also don't want to go in too far because then your tires hit the link bar. So it took a lot of measuring to get that right. And these are true bead locks. There's another stiffening ring right here. So a lot of wheels you see have these bolts right here. They're not really bead lock. It's just a 2-piece wheel and there's like a rubber seal in there. But it doesn't really clamp the tire bead to the wheel like these ones do. So it's pretty good to have. Racehorse, he makes some awesome parts. The way the wheels are like curved right here and reinforced. They're also pretty easy to mount and dismount the tires too. So that's about it for now. Take care. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. And next video I do on this, hopefully I have this thing running like properly with all the rear steer hooked up. Take care. See you next time.